Hi guys!
Hi.
Thank you for joining us for a cup of coffee, a cup of joy. And today we're going to talk about if you can live in the Philippines for under $1,000.
Wow.
Okay, here's the thing, guys.
Oh boy.
I'm going to be honest with you guys. Before we came here, I did tell Heidi about some things about the Philippines and Mexico. I was never in Mexico, so I didn't know, but of course, that's what everybody does. Oh, I need to learn about Mexico. What does everybody do? They go on YouTube and watch YouTube videos about people in Mexico. Now, here's the thing about Mexico. What did we learn about Mexico on YouTube?
That what a lot of the YouTubers said was not true.
True story.
True story. You can do all the research you want online through the YouTubers. You can get some facts, but we're going to do a disclaimer right now. Do your own research, do your own diligence in finding out on a budget or on your income, can you live on 1,000 or less in the Philippines? Yes, you can. There is absolutely no doubt that you can.
Yes, you can. And what we're getting at is most of the YouTube budgets we've watched. Remember, I'm born and raised here. I'm technically a local. I mean, I know I don't have an accent or anything like that. But I'm familiar with the Western standard and Filipino standard. I am 100% Filipino.
The best of both worlds.
Okay. So I look at these budgets, I'm like, And I would give the stipulation, AKA, for example, oh, okay, yeah, that electricity is possible because, oh, that rent is possible because I can tell you because I'm like, I've been here, I've lived here most of my adult life, well, young adult life, anyway. So I know the reasons why these prices are, but most of them are not accurate.
So basically, this is the truth. Whether you live a province life or the actual city life here in the Philippines, it is possible to live on anywhere between $700 to $2,000. Will it be comfortable? It depends on your actual lifestyle. This is basic living, and if you don't adapt to the Filipino lifestyle, you will still pay Western style prices, and that is for sure.
That's correct. And also, I'm gonna state it now before we continue on the video. There's a Western standard which anybody from America has been accustomed to or burdened, and there's Filipino Western standard. What I mean is what Filipinos think is Western, but it's not. Okay.
I got a song stuck in my head, like "Welcome to Miami."
Yeah. So, and some of you YouTubers out there that are watching us right now, you know exactly what I mean when I say
Facebookers.
a Western standard restaurant. You know what I'm talking about. But when I say Filipino Western standard, then you also know what I'm talking about. There's a middle class of the higher class.
Right. So you can actually go to a local eatery, which is right up the street. On our street, we have several restaurants. You can pick up barbecue. What does that cost? 400 or 500 pesos. $8-9, or you can pick up a breakfast for a couple dollars, to both of us, a couple dollars. But then if we go way into Angeles City and eat downtown Angeles City at any of those
a real restaurant
that's owned by Germans or Americans or Filipinos or Japanese or Korean, you're going to pay your regular prices. You're going to pay 30, 40, 50, 60 US dollars to actually eat. So understand that. And before I get too far off track, George had an experience recently.
Okay, so my wonderful daughter took me out to eat for a reunion, and we went to a Japanese restaurant right by, literally right across the street from Astro Park. Great restaurant. It is Western standard restaurant, your standard typical Japanese restaurant. Now, for that outing, just lunch. Okay, this is not a date. This is my daughter. My daughter took me out to eat. Now, the bill ended up like 4,000 pesos, okay? That is just lunch tax, okay? And that's just lunch. So when I see these YouTube budgets, oh, you can go out for this. Yes, if you're not looking at a Western standard. So that being said, again, let's say you're going to go to McDonald's. That'll cost you around 800 to 1,000 pesos, okay? But I've seen these budgets, going out includes my entire budget for the entire month for 4,000. Well, that means you've just been going to what McDonald's with that, and that doesn't include the fare, the vehicle fare, or anything else. That's just the restaurant.
The cat's bumping around the camera, so if you guys see it go bump, it's because Conehead here, Gucci Bear, keeps hitting the camera. She's playing with her toys out here on the floor. So he's quite correct on the actual prices. So it's actually down to how you can actually live. And $1,000 means mostly no travel or medical included. So no, she keeps eating that camera and it's going to be blurry for everybody. No medical. You will have to carry insurance, PhilHealth, save an actual budget for it. Look for another video in regards to medical. I've already done one on medication, a basic. We did 2 of them. I did one in my travel vlog, and George did one where he went around town and went to 4 pharmacies and couldn't find the basics, like certain heart medicine, and we had like 2 different types we could have used and other items. So it means basically you're not going to be island hopping, you're not going to be skiing, you're not going to be doing a bunch of things. We're hearing the average person is living on about $1,500 US as far as a retirement check or other residual incomes that are actually coming in, which is a lot more. We can do a lot more things. You can save a little bit of money. We do really good, and we take Grab to get around. We don't do a vehicle because it's actually crazy. You can do trikes, bikes, walking. We can walk everywhere. We have Sorry stores all over the place. We shop at SM. The malls currently have some restrictions. We are at not a lockdown, but a level 3 right now. So steady income is actually going to be important, but basic living on $1,000 or less in Angeles City area, it is very possible.
It is.
For even a couple. So a single person on $1,000, you can do really well. So basically, the food budget, the rent budget, all that is actually going to come out different. And I'm going to throw a quick thing at you about what we're hearing on the internet from different expats. Right here is an amount here. Rent will run anywhere between 100 to 800 US dollars. Depends on where you want to live. I just seen Candy Towers downtown is available. They're renting it out for 35,000 pesos a month, and someone said that was a steal. I don't know if that includes electricity. They said that was the basics. You would have to inquire on that. Everything that we say, I'm going to put a disclaimer out there. Everything that we say is what we've read, learned on the internet, friends, advertisements, things that we've actually done some research on. I'm sure if anybody's got any questions, comments, or so, be sure to put them down below in regards to this. Electricity is going to run $20 to 300 US dollars. Can you pay a $1,000 utility bill here in this town? It actually depends. If you go into an Airbnb for 1 week, then your electricity could be $1,000.
Yeah, like the Airbnb we were in.
The locals in our general area, if they don't run AC or a bunch of other things, is what, about $2,000 a month?
On average, 2,000 to 3,000 is what local Filipinos use for electricity.
In the city. So out in the
city.
province.
Yeah, in province, it's of course considerably lower.
1,500 to
sometimes lower, because most of the time, depending on the province, aka places like Bohol, Siargao, they have a good cross-flow breeze because of the ocean, and your electricity would be considerably lower.
Right, so it actually does depend on what you're actually willing to do. Are you going to go without fans? If you're going to run air conditioning, electricity can become costly compared to the price of the amount of money that Filipinos are making, wages versus buying items,
right,
and such. We got this from a friend, a middle Filipino family, around 4 people. Electricity could be 1,000 to 2,000 pesos a month, and I'll put a price up. Internet is 1,600. Rent is between 5,000 and 8,000 pesos. Water is between 500 to 1,000. We personally pay how much for water? How much do we personally pay for water?
Like what, 300?
Okay.
300 pesos.
Rice is 2,000 to 3,000. Vegetables 2,000. Meat is 4,000 a month. They keep a couple cell phones in the house. Even not everybody has cell phones. They're thinking about 1,000 pesos a month. And then gas for motorcycles 1,500. Gas is equivalent, we said, to 4 or 5 US dollars
It's the
right
same
now.
as US prices. The same US
If
prices.
if not higher right now, if that's what the gas is in your area. So that turns out to be a Filipino
Yeah.
family.
So of course, obviously, your rice consumption will probably considerably lower, but rent. I know he has a low bar on that one.
This is the province.
Yeah, and
We're
that's
talking
also
province.
Filipino too. From what I've seen in personally, from my walks and talking to other people, it runs average from 7,000 to 45,000. Being 35,000 to 45,000 pesos would be the Western standard.
Speaking of Western Standard, we had seen another person, and we won't give out their name. They said their electricity, and this is in Manila, and the electricity was 15,000 pesos, water was 3,000, cable and internet 3,000, mobile plan 3,000, groceries 30,000 pesos a month, and then they have a maid, they pay 6,000 pesos a month. Gas and eating out is 20,000 a month. Okay, remember per thousand is 20 US dollars. So, and then you have to figure with each of that 30,000, you divide by 50 right now. I think the peso is up at the highest right now. I think it's 51.9. So this person actually really lives high.
And it's in Manila. Odds are she is living in one of those condo buildings, which means she has to run the AC.
So some of these people are spending as much as 130,000 pesos a month to live. And that means that some of them are living on 2, 3, 4,000 US a month. But this is, again, when you're talking about Makati, and we're talking about really rich areas, big beach houses. It depends. You could still be out in the province and live in a big beach house or something out in the middle of nowhere, and it would still be expensive. So I'm seeing the same thing, 30,000 for groceries on this other person. But this is a household of 8 that pays this. 30,000 grocery, 25,000 at the fresh market. 12,000 on a 6-bedroom house, 12,000 on electricity, and that's really high. 2,000 for water, 3,000 mobile, 5,000 for fuel in cars, 15,000 a week dining out, which right there is 60,000 a month alone. That's takeout, deliveries. We have a lot of food delivery places. 20,000 a month for their housekeeper, and then they're saying they spend about 130 to 150,000 a month. So your budget can either be at this point, let me calculate it. Go ahead and take it away. I'm going to calculate.
So, for example, the water. There's a huge disparity between our water usage. Our water bill is 300, and theirs is like 2,000 to 3,000. Here's the reason for that. You can't drink the tap water. Well, you can once you're accustomed to it and once you have an iron stomach, yes. But I don't recommend it still.
Right.
Now, here's the thing. Our water bill is low because we don't purchase our filtered water. What it is we have mechanical filters and we have chemical filters that we have in the house that we use. So therefore, that's it. Basically, we filter our own water, so we get the water from the tap.
And there's a reason we do that. And you also need to be very careful. When you buy those blue jugs of water that you see, and they got the little seal on that, which people seal that with a little machine. So it doesn't mean that it's fresh from the factory. It means that they have, 5, 6 filters on it.
Well, they have their own filtration systems.
And they never change the filters. Them filters are very, very expensive. And we had found even in Angeles City, if you test your own water, they have water testers on Lazada, very inexpensive, $3, $4. We have a water tester, you test it. It was bad when we tested it. So the problem is they don't change the filters enough because they're really expensive and they're in tough times.
Basically, it's a short. Not everybody does this
Not
treatment.
everybody.
But the problem is too about the water. Again, they have very limited range as far as delivering. So even if you do know of a reputable source, unless you have your own vehicle, they have a very limited delivery radius. And then so therefore, that's where it comes to the people who are aware of this. They buy their bottled water from the grocery store, and that's when the water bill hits 2,000 to 3,000 because you're paying basically 100 pesos per 3 gallons of water, which eventually, it doesn't sound like a lot, but you drink more water than you realize once you start paying for it.
Yeah, so again, can you live on that money? Yes, you can. My thoughts to that, to be comfortable between Western and Filipino standard, 2,000 a month for a couple. We have heard there's another YouTube couple that's on their way here. They sold their business, they sold their house. They're bringing several kids. They've been here before, so they know the area. I believe he is Filipino or half Filipino, that I'm to understand. And they're on their way back here, and they're young. They're really, really young. Would I come here with no residual income? I don't know. That would seem so.
We don't recommend it.
We don't. So there's a lot of people that come here on their savings. We heard this guy was living on, what was he claiming? He lived on when he got here, $100 a month.
Which you can. You can.
If
but But I even said before I even heard anything.
Noodles and fish.
I'm pretty
Filipino
sure
life.
he went in a remote province, and he did.
And he lived Filipino style to the hilt. He said $6
Fish
on
and rice.
$6 on transportation. That means he's taking just the tuk-tuk, or
Yeah.
he's taking a
Oh, no,
bike
not
or a
even
pedal
that.
bike. Probably a pedal bike, not an actual
even
physical
that.
gas bike.
Yeah.
And so, can you on $100 a month? Yeah, that's possible. And I believe this was a year or two ago. So, can you? Maybe, but I wouldn't come out here without any net. So, like we were discussing, I would have an emergency fund, like $5,000 in the bank that you don't touch and you can't reach, and I would just leave it alone. This is a personal opinion for us to have that kind of money for emergencies.
And also, unless you're if you're a retiring expat, I mean, you're our age, I don't recommend.
Our age? Whose age?
I don't recommend going the Filipino route right away. You can, but I suggest you break yourself gently into it.
Break yourself.
AKA the heat, the food. Okay, the food, regardless of age, has nothing to do with it. Your body has to get used to the food too. Remember that.
So it's how you want to live on the money that you actually bring here, what your residual income is, that you stay on a budget, that you deal with healthcare, because if healthcare hits you. Heart surgery alone, I researched this the other day because Sunshine Shoulders, and check out his channel, has a friend that is having issues now that just arrived in Cebu, and we hope John gets better soon. We send our well wishes out to John right now. Heart surgery would cost you $20,000-$30,000 US, and that's if they can perform the surgery. He's at the best hospital possible, and if you have heart valves put in, pacemakers, all this, it can start between $15,000 to $20,000, and that's a general government amount, so they can pretty much charge different ranges, it shows. So you want to, take care as far as your budget if you plan to live on that money. So living in the city here, I'm going to say Angel City, I wouldn't come here on less than $1,500 a month, as far as that that's what you have, because most people plan to get married, they bring one kid with them, they have a kid when they get here. And you can live on that and be comfortable.
You can definitely be comfortable, but like I said, what are you willing to give up? Again, as a recap, remember the average Western standard restaurant will cost you about $4,000 if you're a couple.
$3,000, $4,000.
Okay.
You can go in singly and pay $20 for a breakfast, or you can go up to Eggs and Breaky here and pay 1,600 pesos, which is still over $24 just to sit down. These kitties are all over the place.
Right, that would be your Filipino Western standard, aka Eggs and Breaky, McDonald's, 1,600 is how much you're going to be paying.
Yeah. So is it better than living in the U.S. where you're struggling every day, and we know retirees that are struggling eating ramen noodles and tuna, and they don't know how they're going to pay their electricity bill, they can't even buy their heart medication. The transportation and an Uber costs an arm and a leg. They're paying $20, $30 to go to a doctor's appointment. That's U.S. Is it much better? Yes. But you got to look out everything else that actually goes around where you're going to live, whether it's going to be a province, the issues. But it is a beautiful country. By no means are we trying to deter anybody from coming. It's a wonderful place. Must say that there's a lot to see and a lot to do.
Yeah, and again, I'm going back to the restaurant. A Filipino standard restaurant, you're only going to be paying $200 to $250 to $300 for a couple for two people.
That's like a local. That's a local, like what I call street food, or little mom and pop restaurant.
Yeah, more
up the
mom
street.
and pop. I don't call it street food.
Like
There is street food.
We have like a gigantic hamburger that we actually got, and actually you can cut it in half and share it, and it's got like 2 patties. So basically it's a 4-patty hamburger. And what was that?
120 pesos for a hamburger, literally this big.
It's gigantic,
right.
And it's not a bad price.
So there's a bunch of gems like there everywhere.
We got like a bag of adobo. I said I'm not drinking a bag of soda, but I got a bag. They actually put a lot of the food in a plastic bag here. And it's just like a baggie. They tie it up. They put it in a bowl, wrap it on the top, pour a bunch of it in there, and then they tie it up. And the adobo we get is like $1 US, and we made 2 meals out of it. So it had potatoes and carrots and meat and everything else, a good sauce, and we.
Mm-hmm. It's really good.
It just depends on how we live the best of both worlds, and we're very content with what we do. So.
Yeah.
I'm gonna finish my coffee, so I ain't got nothing more to say on this subject. So.
All right, guys. Again, can you live for under 1,000? Definitely yes. Definitely yes. Most Filipinos do, but remember,
A lot of cheap stuff here, like cigarettes
Correct.
and alcohol.
alcohol. A bottle of gin is what, $2?
Right,
Like
so
a
cigarettes,
big bottle of gin is
alcohol,
$2.
massages are less than $5 with a tip.
Right.
So a lot of things are what was your haircut? Less than $2 with a tip?
With a
And
tip.
If we'd have done that, it'd been 20 US. All the haircuts inexpensively was $20 for George. So, you know, can you? And, you know, but we hope everybody enjoyed this. If you have any questions, be sure to comment below, do a thumbs up, and a thumbs down. If you don't like it, if you got something to say, put a comment below. Anybody from Facebook, put a comment below. We're keeping it real. We've been keeping it real since 1980. So a shout out to everybody and our new subscribers. Thank you. Be sure to subscribe so you can get the next video and the next craziness. So we like to say, keep your heads up and your hearts open. And we'll see you soon in the Philippines, guys. Bye. Oh man, I think my butt hurts again. After I sit here for so freaking long.
Oh wait, we forgot our thumbnail. Thumbnail.
We can do a thumbnail on that. Ready? Gucci Bear, why'd you disturb my camera during my recording? Gucci Bear. Please, Gucci Bear, give me a kiss.